reinventing self. You know, it's not something that you think about when you're doing it, but to think about it once you've done it or got far enough into the reevaluation of the reinvention, you actually start to see the progress and respect it. What we don't think about in that space is how so many times we have reinvented the light, reinvented the wheel, reinvented the window, reinvented the door, reinvented the plate, the fork. We've reinvented soap. But yet and still, sometimes it's hard for individuals to accept you when you are trying to reinvent yourself. They'll say you're a poser. They'll say you whack, you changed up, you inconsistent. But are those the things that we say about day-to-day products, different things that we utilize in our day-to-day life, various inventions of past? Why? Is it because they're accepted and they're part of life that you just allow them to be reinvented without any question? But yet when a person does it, it's a bad thing. I don't think reinventing yourself is wrong in any way. I think you have to get to a place to where you understand enough about yourself and life and growth to understand how beautiful it is to be able to be strong enough to reinvent yourself. Some people stay the same. Some people stay stagnant. They don't even recognize it. 20, 30 years goes by and they haven't grown at all. They're still doing the same things, still hanging with the same people. And there's nothing wrong with having the same friends as the people you hung out when you were a child. To be close and feel support, and even those who have elevated with you in that growth from childhood to adulthood, that's great. But if it turns out that in doing so, you yourself haven't grown because you haven't expanded your circle, that's not acceptable. To reinvent yourself, to learn more about yourself, to further educate yourself, to dive into who you are and define who you are, your definition of who you are, not who you told you are. That takes strength. That takes courage. That takes power. There's something almost ingenious about being able to reinvent yourself, to appear as one thing and then to appear as another thing, and not to be fake. But to be real. Very real. Real with yourself. Real with who you are. Real with what you want. As you develop and you're aware as you're developing, you should take on change. Imagine if cars were still the same. Thank God for innovation. Thank God for people wanting to take a moment, be strong enough to reinvent, to break down, redevise the plan, be better than before. That's reinvention. That's what it is to reinvent yourself. To come back better than before. I've embodied a lot of spaces in my career and in my lifetime. My career has shifted, but always with the same foundation. To educate, to grow, to be something someone could be proud of. I've always worked hard, but I never really did it for me. I knew the people that I worked hard for weren't even here. Not yet, at least. I knew the things that I thought in my head were things that other people thought in their head, and maybe they just didn't have it in them to try to see it accomplished. There were times where I doubted myself, many a times. And it was only in those times where I fought literally with myself, fought through it, that I was able to experience the best joy that I ever experienced, which was being able to see me succeed. Self-doubt is the number one way to stumble yourself and to mislead yourself out of reinvention. You have to do what you know you have to do. If there's more inside of you, pull it out. Use it. Even if you don't know how to use it, pull it out. Try it. Test run. Crash. Try not to crash and burn, but crash. And if you do crash and burn, pray that you have the strength to get back up. Walk away from that crash. Or if you have to lay down and rest and regain strength before you can even attempt another test, that's okay too. I think what I want to express in this daily bread is that it's okay to fail. But it's not truly a failure unless you fail to try again. Cheers.